Morning everybody, happy Thursday. I'm Luke Sullivan with Transwest Truck Trailer RV. Welcome to sunny Fredrick, Colorado, just north of Denver, about 30 minutes, depending on traffic. Don't hold us to that. Behind me today is a Cimarron Norstar 3-horse bumper pull. Really great trailer. Some upgrades that you get when you go from that 2-horse to the 3-horse. So we'll go over a couple of those. First and foremost, you get bigger axles, you get a little bit more weight carrying capacity, you get an escape door over there on driver's side of your number 1 horse, stud divider, things like that. So, you know, if it's that added capacity that you're looking for, if you're only ever traveling with a couple, but you've got 3 at home, and if you need to evac or something like that, you need that ability. Certainly a great runaround trailer. And again, just like a lot of our bumper pulls and our smaller trailers, if you're trying to substitute or kind of, you know, find a different use for that LQ or find a different trailer aside from that LQ if you're running around local, really nice to be able to have that option with this trailer. So we'll get right into it. No differences here in all of our bumper pull. 2 and 5/16 inch coupler, big heavy duty safety chains, small touches that Cimarron does that I really like, just the chain hooks. They're the hangers that we can hang our hooks from. They do a curled up, kind of a coiled breakaway there too, so we don't always have this dragging on the ground like we've had in the past or having to double it back. And like we said, 2 and 5/16 inch coupler. Do have a hand crank jack on that. We'll talk a little bit more, maybe a bit later, about what Transwest can add for you. But if you want to add an electric jack, that's certainly something our shop can help you with. And then our standard 7-pin connection, we've got it in a battery box there for you to show you a couple of different lights and some features that we've got going on. So nice diamond plate there, protects these trailers quite a bit. Most of us, especially if we own horses or board horses, live down some gravel roads or travel some gravel roads. So nice to be able to protect the noses of these trailers as well with that diamond tread. So working our way into our tack room, first and foremost, you'll see a lot bigger tack room door here. You'll also see a nice fold down step too. Gas shock on that, that's what holds it closed, helps it open, gives it a little bit of a soft close as well. No hardware, no pins, nothing you have to worry about getting gumped up with gravel and dust and dirt that doesn't quite function like the day that you left the dealership lot with it. So nice to have that. Maintenance free as well. Big oversized door here. We got a lot going on. First and foremost, brush tray in the door. It's partitioned off a little bit of reading material for you, but it's partitioned off, and then it's got some drain holes in there, of course, too. We've all going to throw a spray bottle of fly spray or some hoof paint in there, and we know it will spill. So nice to be able to clean that out and have those options. Like we said, we've got this oversized door. We'll talk about that as we swing out the saddle rack, but up in top, you've also got a bus window there as well. So swinging out your saddle rack. I'm at ground level. I am not a tall person. This is a great feature for somebody. Be able to throw your saddles in here, not tripping over all your stirrups, not tripping over your girth and your billets and all that kind of stuff. Nice to be able to throw your gear right on here. These are infinitely adjustable too. So, and also we carry these racks in our shop, in our parts department, excuse me. So if you want to add a 4th to it, if you think you can squeeze one on here, we can certainly do that. We could easily remove that saddle blanket pole as well, or add to that as well if you wanted to add a few more poles as well. So nice to be able to adjust these. Again, like I said, a couple bolts top and bottom, and you can move these up and down this track as you like. If you'd like to remove a few or add a few, you know, depending on the style saddles you're running and what kind of gear you've got, you can certainly add a few more to that as well. And then this is on a gas shock as well, so everything's pretty stiff and tight when it's new, but you get some weight on there, and things really smoothing out quite a bit. So nice to be able to have that feature. Swing this guy in and out of here. One of the main reasons we do the big door, we've still got a ton of room there, and then you'll see when this guy is out, even when I've got some gear and saddles on here, I can still pass through here, and I've got some wide shoulders to fit through, even when this is loaded up. So nice to be able to have that use of space and have that wide open door. So stepping inside of the tack room, rubber matted floors in here, real easy to pull these out if you want to clean things out. Just a couple mats front and back, 2 pieces it looks like. Nice to be able to sweep this out, nice to be able to do a bit of housekeeping in here, nothing complicated about it. And then over here on our driver's side wall, we have a matching wheel and tire, spare wheel and tire. So full aluminum, matches all the gear that we got on the ground. And then Goodyear tires, we'll talk a lot more about the running gear when we get out there. So, and then just above that, again, it's kind of the small little touches with Cimarron that really makes the big difference. We've got a clothes rod here. It's obviously nothing for them to weld that little piece of round stock there, or square stock there, and have a spot for us to get some of our show coats and shirts out of our tow vehicles, clean out that back seat of our truck, and make it a spot for our dogs, or a comfortable spot for our guests or somebody that's riding with us. So nice to be able to get that out of there. And again, like I said, small touches with Cimarron that really make the big difference. So nice to be able to get your clothes out of the way, and then talking about all our headgear and our bridles and more small touches. Started adding carpet a long time ago, some options for some customers, and then it just became standard really down the road, across the board. Two reasons. First and foremost, we've all seen the used trailers running down the road that have all those metal marks, so resale on these guys are great. We're not seeing all those marking that we see in those old metal trailers, or even the aluminums. It's just the metal on metal. And then secondarily to that, imagine the sound deadening that we're doing. Our horses are right opposing this wall here, so we're quieting that quite a bit down now, instead of having that metal on metal banging against these walls, especially stopping and starting every time, and having it swing along and hit the wall. So bridle hooks themselves, Cimarron does a great job with these. They're really tall, they're pretty deep. You can get a hose on here, you can get some electrical cords, some extension cords on here, and you're not gonna find a heap of stuff down on the floor like you do every time running down the road, hanging all your stuff up and reorganizing and or getting packed up for the show, and then you get home and everything's on a heap. So in a heap on the floor. So really different style hook than we're used to seeing from standard in a lot of the competitors. A lot deeper, like I said, and they're pretty darn stout too. I can nearly hang off of just one of these without much deflection out of them. So a lot of the small features. One thing that Cimarron's done a nice job too is utilizing some of that dead space. We've got a 28-gallon corner tank here by High Country Plastics. We put it on a little pedestal there, so you can very easily throw a 5-gallon water bucket underneath there and fill it. And then also, I'll tear it up if I pull it out of there, but you get a 10-foot hose as well. So if you want to run that hose outside and ground level, you can gravity feed it a little bit faster. And like I said, just fill at the top. It's a gravity feed system, so you can bring some water from home, whether you're on a road trip and want to be able to offer some at some fuel stops or gas stops, or if you're out showing and it's middle of the season and they don't have their water turned on quite yet, or you're out trail riding and you want to bring some water from home. Really nice to be able to have that option, especially if you've got 3 head on the trailer. So get this guy closed back up for you. Get you a look as we go down the side of the trailer. You will see that we are 3 very oversized bus windows on hip side of this trailer. And these trailers are airtight and weather stripping on all of these doors. So these doors are a little bouncy to close. They get a little bit of an air bubble in them. But talking about our bus windows, big oversized bus windows on these guys, we can open all 3 of these wide open, and they complement those drop windows on head side really, really well. We can still move a ton of air through these trailers, especially with the roof vents as well. So down below those, we've got 3 tie rings along this side. We'll kind of mirror image that on driver's side too. Really nice to be able to obviously tie up over here next to your tack room door. But whether parking allows, or you've got a couple ponies that aren't quite buddies and you need to separate them, obviously we'll do a couple on either side for you to help you out there. So talk about running gear real quick. Certainly if you're in the bumper pull game, you're either complementing, like we said, that bigger LQ or bigger trailer, or maybe you're just getting into the game and gaining some independence of your own. This trailer rides on 5,200-pound Dexter torsion axles. A lot of our typical 2 horses are on 3,500-pound axles, so a little bit of an upgrade here, a little bit more weight carrying capacity, obviously with the 3-horse necessity. We are on 16-inch aluminum wheels with 16-inch Goodyear tires. So I think right there, that speaks for itself. The name Goodyear should say enough. So really high quality materials that we're talking about here, not skimping on anything, especially in the Cimarrons. Goodyear tires, and then electric drum brakes. So always make sure your tow vehicle has a trailer brake controller. Make sure that you have the ability to adjust that setting and that you have control over those brakes, especially if you're out here in Colorado. If you're spending any time going west out in the mountains, you want to be able to have and complement your tow vehicle's braking as well. You always want to have those in sync together, and that's an ever-changing number, so make sure you're aware of that. Working our way around to the back of the trailer. Couple things Cimarron did 25 standard. First and foremost, was an added option for a long time, is this reverse tail light. I think it's an awesome little feature. Cimarron does a great job with LEDs all around the trailer, and they do 4 tail lights across the back, so you get 2 for right and 2 for left turn signals. But I really love that reverse tail light. So throw your truck in reverse, there's no change to that 7-pin connection. Everything is gonna stay the same, and you've got a lot more light back here. Whether you're at home and you've got that reference point that you always reference, and it's late and you wanna be able to see it, it really helps instead of running out here and flipping on your floodlights like we've all done in the past. Or if you're at a show and you're in a new spot and you wanna be able to see what you're doing, makes a big difference. And then talking floodlights really quick, we have awning lights throughout this trailer surrounding it. We've got some over both driver and passenger side there, and then we've got a load light above us as well. So we've got a 60-40 split door back here. Work our way into the stock area, the horse area of this trailer. Completely lockable paddle latches, so we can lock this guy up tight if we're at a show or something like that. And then nice door holds here as well if we're having a windy day, to keep our doors where we want them. So first and foremost, we'll talk Cimarron flooring. This is a rubber matted trailer with Cimarron's exclusive aluminum 4-inch on center cross member flooring. So their theory on it is no more low spots in the flooring, no more chance of even Fergie the mini pony not standing on a cross member anytime they're in this trailer. So really stout flooring, not really able to be compared to anybody else on the market. On top of that, we've done the rubber matted trailer here in this instance, but the ability to go over to a worm, to add the worm flooring for us is no problem. We have a vendor just down the road. Worm is the impenetrable rubberized flooring. It does eliminate the rubber mats. It's exactly what it stands for. We eliminate rubber mats. And it just really eliminates that need to pull these once a year. Typically, you choose to always do it in the summertime. And once a year, pressure wash out that worm flooring. Some good housekeeping as you use it. Don't let wet shavings sit on either one of these types of floorings. Clean them out, and that's the benefit. Now, again, like we said, if this trailer checks all your boxes and you see the rubber matting, you're really interested in worm, we can certainly get a quote for you to add that with our vendor that's just down the road. So working our way inside the trailer, first and foremost, you'll see 3-horse configuration. We do a stud divider at the first stall. So a lot of options with that. First and foremost, obviously it's a stud divider. If you've got a spicy horse that you want to separate a little bit from your other two, or if you're just a little bit worried about how they trailer and you want to keep them contained a little bit more, you have that ability, obviously. And then, like we said earlier on too, a lot of customers are looking for that 3-horse because they've got 3 running down the road, or they've got 3 at home and they're only running down the road with a few. This is a great spot for storage. So first and foremost, we have an escape door over here on driver's side. We'll take a good look at that when we get to the outside. But with the stud divider, we don't ever have to worry about anything rolling under a horse's feet. If we want to use it for some hay bales, bags of shavings, some feed, some just tools and stuff like that that we're going to use at a show, we want easy access to it when we first get to the show. Whether we need to bed some stalls down or something like that, we have that ability too. So just some added use, added storage in a type of trailer like this. And then working our way all around the trailer, we talked about the rubber matted floors, but rubber matted walls around the entirety of the trailer, front, back, and side, and even our doors as well. So really nice to have those on hip side, obviously, but nice addition to add them up there on our partition wall and then our head side wall as well. So a couple things too. We'll work our way up on the trailer. Cimarron standard feature across the board, whether it's our stock boxes or our big LQs. This is a single insulated roof panel. We see an R3 insulation factor out of it. We see a big difference in temperature between these and an aluminum skinned roof, especially out here on an asphalt lot. We see a 10 to 15 degree difference. And then secondarily to that too is a lot of structure out of these too. So they're really strong. We don't have to look for those cross members anymore if we are walking around up on the roof. Probably won't find ourselves on the roof of this one very often, but our bigger LQs, nice to be able to walk around up there and not have to look for those cross members or worrying about denting or putting a big crater in our aluminum sheeted roofed trailer. So bunch of added benefits to that. And in addition to that too, we're out here in Hail Country too. We see a great result in these in the couple of storms that we had. Second to that, to complement that insulated roof is some roof vents. Summertime, we can suck a lot of air through this trailer when we're moving down the road. Wintertime, we can reverse these, open them up backwards and move some of that air. If you get 3 horses in a trailer like this, on a 20 or even on a 20 or 30 degree day, you can create a lot of body heat in here and condensation. So nice to be able to move that out of the roof of this trailer. Real quick before we make our way out, 2 big OptiBrite lights in here, all LED, low power draw on these guys. So the way this trailer is configured, you're gonna get those lights whenever you're plugged into your tow vehicle. We'll talk real quick about add-ons. If you wanted to add that electric jack, you notice certainly when we stepped into the trailer, it's a step-up trailer. If you'd like to add a ramp to a trailer, those are things we can help you with at Transwest. With Cimarron, we can get factory direct parts directly from the factory, excuse me. And then we've got a couple techs in our shop over here that you would think it was a factory installed option. So if you want to add a ramp, if you want to add an electric jack to the front of a bumper pole type trailer, we wouldn't make that big step to electric over hydraulic, but you have those options. If you ever decided to add an electric jack, you'd get a 12-volt deep cycle service and you'd be able to run those OptiBrites. Tack room, horse compartment, even our floodlights on the back of the trailer, even when you're not hooked up to a tow vehicle. So get this side closed back up. We'll work our way around to the driver's side. Again, like I said, all our paddle latches there are lockable as well. Biggest difference you'll see driver's side, drop windows. And these bring a lot of air into the trailer. Whether you're sitting still in a parking lot, we're getting ready to load or unload at a show, or whether you're moving down the interstate at 65 or 70, you're gonna keep a lot of airflow through this trailer. If you get, like we said, if you get 3 horses in here, summertime, they're creating a lot of heat in and of themselves. So nice to be able to move some air through these trailers. And then wintertime, obviously very easily close these guys up and you've still got some bust windows in all of these. Drop windows as well, so you have that ability to regulate some air. You obviously don't need to blast them with 20-degree air if you're running down the road. Really nice thing I like about the jail bars on the Cimarrons, there's no hardware to drop these guys down. So all 3 of these are set up the exact same, but it's as simple as raising this up a little bit. You have a hole or a relief there in the track, and we can drop that down. If you're at a fuel stop, if you're at a show, you want to get clipped onto a halter with a shank, if you want to offer some water or hay like that, if you're at a stop, you can do that very easily. Do what you need to do, put your jail bars back up. And again, like I said, no hardware, nothing to really mess with. I did all that one-handed too, so nice to be able to have those options. We talked about tie rings. We've got those options over here. We've got an awning light above our tie rings too, so if we are working early at night, or early in the morning, late at night, we've got a lot of light that we can shed on things. These LEDs put out a ton of light. You could read a book probably 50 feet away from these things in the middle of the night while it's dark. Working our way over, we talked about our escape door. So really hard for us, unless we do a custom build, which Cimarron is happy to oblige, hard for us to do the escape door in the 2-horse trailers. Getting that between the front fenders and where the hitch starts lining up is a little tough with that space that's allowed. So 3 horses where it really starts to become standard, and tons of options of space. Whether you're using this just for access to get to your horse, you know, checking on them at a stop, you've got this chest bar here as a little bit of added safety. Nice little ball and socket, rises right up out of there. And you have access into here. Again, like I said, whether you're using this just for a little bit of access to your horse, God forbid in any kind of emergency, we do call it an escape door for a reason. But secondarily to that, tons of storage too. So really nice to be able to have that added space. And then talking real quick, we'll close our door back up. You'll see a latch here. Shared space, anytime we share a space with a horse compartment, we'll double latch it so that they don't have any chance of getting anything open. And then like we said, the whole trailer is key to like. Even our paddle latches on our rear doors, this one as well, are all key to like. You'll get a set of master keys with the trailer when you purchase. And really nice to be able to throw a tack trunk in here and spend a night at a hotel and lock up the back of it and not have to worry about getting it, rearranging your tack room and getting it tucked in there. So working our way back around to the front of the trailer. This is possibly an entry-level trailer, so we'll talk a little bit about weight real quick. This is right around 3,400 pounds. Certainly towable with your larger SUVs, your half-ton pickups. If you guys have any questions about tow vehicles, certainly happy to answer those for you and kind of walk you through some of the weights on this trailer specifically, or any other trailer we have on the lot. Please feel free to reach out. My email's down below, luke.sullivan@transwest.com. You can call me or text me. My cell phone's 859-509-1282. If you have questions specifically about this trailer, or if you want to reference it on our website, you can find it there via the stock number 5N240991. Thanks for your time today, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. It's almost the weekend. También hablo español.